Hello. Oh, can you hear me? Hi, my name is Kang. I'm the founder of KryptoPlanet. Thank you for being here. I know there's not a lot of time, so I'll just go in straight ahead. This title is very rare. I don't think there's many talks on conferencing, and this is a massive conference, so I really, as a newbie especially, I really highly recommend that you listen to my talk and just see how you want to navigate conferencing in the right way from an event organizer's perspective. So a little bit intro about myself. I worked in crypto since 2018. I plan a ton of events, starting in Korea about 2018. Started over, I think, a total of 80 events. Started a conference brand called Build Asia in Korea, ongoing, and started an Eat Seoul Hackathon and all sorts of new event series in Korea, also Lisbon, and everywhere else. So I'm kind of all here and there, all over the world, doing my own brand, connecting a lot of founders and builders in the space, amazing people and amazing vibes. So it kind of equals to like a 7-year PhD in events. I think I kind of mastered it. I have a degree in events, I would say, and I know a lot of, I have done a lot of field studies, especially in event planning, coordinating, and so I want to kind of share this is what I've done in the past. Eat Seoul, and this is like literally this year, 2 months ago, I hosted for my first Middle Europe in Lisbon, which was my first conference outside of South Korea, which was very mind-boggling, but I think it was a great hit. I would love, for you guys to come at one point. It's a very curated, cozy size of founders, builders connecting, and I think created amazing vibes. I think if you've been there, you would have felt it yourself as well. And so I would like to kind of talk about how to navigate conferences from two perspectives. From an organized perspective, who organizes events, and also from an attendee perspective. First of all, so as an organizer, I don't know if there's any organizers or organizer wannabes. Hey. But event organizing is hard, especially it's very underrated. A lot of people think it's easy, but it's really not. And it's a lot of competition as well. But I would like to say that since I created my own brand from scratch, I tried to think what is original, meaning what could I add value to? Not like copycatting, not copying and pasting what others are doing. I mean, it could be a good start, but I think you really have to find out what you're good at and what you can add value in creating an event series or something. It doesn't need to be small. It doesn't need to be big. It could be small. And I, did small study groups. I did small, meetups from 20 people, 30 people, and it was still good quality. And I think people had a good vision. Okay, this is a really good value-adding event. And it starts from there. It doesn't need to be humongous. I mean, this is huge, but I think, to be a successful event organizer, I think size doesn't matter. And so you need a really clear vision on what you want to create. You have to visualize it in your head and then execute. You just don't create an event without any type of a clear picture what you want to do, who you want to invite, which narrative you want to have. And also, I would like to say that many people assume that when you start event organizing, you should earn a lot of money in the beginning. It rarely happens. It's actually it's a plus if you break even, it's actually a good outcome in the first one. I almost lost money in the first big conference, and I was scared to death, but I kept at it because it was a very good outcome. It was very good content. People loved it. So I was like, okay, I'll do the next one. I'll be courageous. I'll start with the next one. And I took leverage of the first good sample and then took it back to next year. And as a result, honestly, it was a very massive success. Not that I earned a ton of money back in the next year, but still, it was a gradual improvement. And I think keeping consistency, also making it better each time, it really makes a huge difference in the longer run. And I kept at it for 7 straight years, and even now I'm still trying to find ways to improve it year by year, and not really obsessing about how much money I'm making per time. And so I would consider the first few events at least as an investment, in terms of my time, my effort. It's a portfolio to what I'm gonna be good at in the future years. So, I mean, you can invest. I think it's worth an investment for sure. And I think it's my asset, for example. Not financial asset, but it's a good portfolio to have. So what works is that curation is everything, right? I mean, curating everything. Not only speakers, sponsors, that's a norm, but also attendees. I curate attendees as well, believe it or not. But I think it's really important because attendees add value by networking with each other, by like looking around the room and saying, oh, this person's around, and you talk to the person, and if you add value, if you have like amazing things going on, you think like, hey, this event actually added value to my day, And I think it creates a good memory in the attendee's head, and so they keep coming back to your event. So I have a solid number of people that keeps coming back, that keeps sponsoring, that keeps speaking because they trust in my events and they know that my curation is pretty good. And so, I'm very sure that this will, as a result, be a value add to your event curation. Also, content is of course the most important thing as well. I create all my agenda. I took care of all the talk topics. Who's going to be on the fireside chat, who's going to be moderating. I choose everything. And it's very small details, but it really matters. You have to find the right fit, and you have to find who's good at moderating. And so it's a lot of work. But I think delegation to another person is limited. I think for the first time, you should really, really like hone down, find the people you really want to speak at the event, and really focus on the talk topics as well. And yeah, the whole experience, the vibes, the events, not just about the talks, it's about like who's around you, what's going on, who's singing, who's, eating what, right? And it's all about the experience, the holistic experience. And my job as an organizer is to curate everything, like the whole experience. So for example, I'll tell you later, the venue choice. So this is an example, the venue choice. This is a massive venue, so I wouldn't say this is a wrong venue. But it's a lot of things going on, so I wouldn't say anything bad or anything. But noise, separation is very important. I'm like literally yelling right now to the crowd, but still it's pretty small, right? And it's not good for the speaker, and it's not for the audience as well. I would highly recommend to separate networking area and the talk area. That's like a must 101 to do, but not many events do that, to be honest. And so I would highly recommend that you do that if you organize anything. And also feeding people, very important. And people get hangry, it's not very good. Even though talk is good, they'll get hangry. They're dehydrated, so it's not a good sign. So especially strong Wi-Fi as well. There's Wi-Fi here, but it could be a little weak. So, I think reinforcing the Wi-Fi network is also a prerequisite as well. Also, act like the host. So I'm a host most of the time. So usually, even though I'm not the organizer at this event, I'm usually very accommodating. I act like a host every single time, and it shows. So when they enter my event, for example, I'm very welcoming. So I smile until my mouth, I smile really, fully, and everyone really enjoys that I talk to them in person, one-on-one, and the little connections, they really matter, right? And it really leaves a strong impression on the attendees, and they want to keep coming back because they're welcomed. And so I try my best to make sure that they're welcome in my own event. So what doesn't work? It could be a not popular opinion, but I'm just going to say it. Quality over quantity. I know a lot of events or assessment of an event, successful event is number of attendees. How many attended the event? 1,000 people, 10,000 people. It's important. Yes, it's very important. But I kind of disagree. It doesn't really guarantee the quality of an event. It doesn't guarantee the pleasant experience of an event. And I think it's a good metric. It's one of a metric, but it cannot be the absolute metric. So instead, I would highly recommend that you focus on the quality and you obsess that everything is good quality. So I never obsess on the size or a number. I just more obsess about the vibes, the whole holistic experience. So sponsorship. So I know money is also a lot of money goes into events. It's a lot of production. It's a lot. And sponsorship can be a very, very tricky, very sensitive issue. It doesn't make me go to sleep at night. It's really hard to sell sponsorships and to the right people too. And I think it's very you should be very careful in selling sponsorships to projects. I really curate my sponsors as well. I make sure that I trust my sponsors, that I respect my sponsors, because otherwise it may lead to some unpredictable consequences. For example, shilling the project at the event, which I don't want, which I hate. And so I make sure that we're aligned, the sponsors and I are aligned, and they're good quality so that they can deliver good content as well, not just shill or hype, or which is not bad, but you know. And also be careful. I also I'm very careful who I share the event to as well. So I said I curate the attendees as well, and because it has to be targeted to the right audience, who I want to target. For example, developers, students, women, like a lot of groups that are really value adding or that are underrated or that are just really meaningful. I really tend to just like focus on those groups as well, make sure that they're included, and so I usually I don't put my side events on like the massive spreadsheet usually, which is like I don't know, not many people do it, but I sometimes do because I want like to curate every one of my attendees sometimes, which is not popular, but still it's what I do, and it usually works really well as a result. And next, shortly, is from an attendance perspective, you're all here to attend, maybe to talk or to sponsor, but everyone's here to like enjoy, right? And just for newbies, it could be for non-newbies, it could be for experts or anybody who's here for like year 5, right? But just a few reminders is that so crypto is full of conferences, as you have all experienced and are sick of or whatever. It's a lot, and even for myself, I do a full analysis of what's going on in the entire year, so I can plan my own events. And you have to be careful how to strategically divide your plan your year, because it's a lot. If you follow everything that everyone's going to, you're going to be exhausted. And so I would highly recommend that you focus on the topics or regions that you really want to focus on, because there's too many going on. You can't do everything, so just give it up and just focus on the ones that really want to go for. So for example, if it's like a Solana conference or Ethereum conference, really kind of go for that as well. Also specific speakers or sponsors or even topics, right? If it's an AI conference, right? AI crypto conference, so kind of developer conference, I would go hone down on that rather than just trying to do everything. It's a lot. So, and also for ETHDenver as well. It's my 5th year this year, so it's been always good to come back, but it's a lot to handle, right? So, but I think for newbies, it's really good to look at the booth area, because the booth area is filled with sponsors that are willing to talk to you, that want to explain to you about their protocol really nicely. And so I think it's a good way to learn about the industry really well as well if you go around. And side events could be distracting, but it could be a value-adding thing. I know there's many good side events around here, hundreds. It's hard to choose them, but also make sure that you focus here on the main event as well, and divide your time wisely so you don't wear out, basically. And just, plan your day accordingly so that you only do 1 or 2 side events a day or something like that, so you don't get sick throughout the week. It's a bit, people get sick throughout the week, so it's a lot. And much time. Sharing tweets, feedbacks about the event will be very helpful to get more awareness, more engagement with the organizers and sponsors, so that'll be helpful. But yeah, just feel free to enjoy. I'm kind of done right now, but the theory of conferencing is underrated, but is very important. So hope you enjoy ETHDenver and the rest of the year conference. And yeah, thank you for listening, and let's connect on Twitter or email. Thank you so much.